This is NNE, Nano Nuclear Energy, on the 5-minute time frame. A trader named Miriam is interested in this ticker, so I will break down the price targets first on the 5-minute time frame and then clean up the chart. We ended the week at $19.18, up 4.30%. To the north side from where we are takes us to one level of resistance and a potential take profit area at $20.04. Above that, at 3 standard deviations, or roughly 21.05. And should we be so lucky as to get to 4 standard deviations in one day, that will be $22.09. Back to the middle of the trend, and one level of support takes us to $17 and roughly 86 cents. Below that, a gap forms to the south side starting at $16.24, and it closes out at roughly, let me mark this, $15.59, and then that will take us past -2 standard deviations, and this area is another level of support and a potential buy-in area as well if you're patient. And then below that, $14.69, and a better price to the downside, $13.65 if you're trying to get in. And obviously, if it's going down and you bought in higher, then that's a whole different story. Now, I want to clean up this chart. Let's start with this. Well, there are many landmines to the south side. Let's just put it that way. As I looked at this on the bigger time frame, which I'll go to in a minute. Let's just do this and work my way down. So to the north side, there is a gap that will take us to 26.92. That is a gap fill to the upside. But right now on the 5, we are still going downward. This gap closed to the upside at 21.19. Then we hit this level and then started to kind of fall apart sideways and then go down, and then off support a bounce. And this gap here was created, and it also closed. See, we went from here and then basically all the way back down to here. And that closed out on Wednesday, the 23rd of October. So that is no longer a threat to our account to the south side. And then we started to still fall down, a bounce off support there, kind of just grinding along south of the middle of the trend there. And then this gap touched right there on the 24th. Okay, and then we fell some more, bounced off support, tried to run, didn't make it, bounced off support again. That's a clear area of support down here. There are many levels of support and resistance in between. And why did I have this thing marked? I don't know. That's an accident. Let me delete that. All right, and so we just worked our way back here and then a bounce, but we have not cleared this target yet. And that takes us to roughly 1846. And then we've got this gap to deal with and still going down. So definitely, I think that will be wiped out on Monday. And then we've got this gap to the south side at 1263. This gap down to 1063. And then this, and I just drag these gaps. I have no idea when they're going to fill, but we are in a downward channel, but we are not in this channel to close out yet, not in the zone, not even close. All right, now what I'm going to do, Option R to reset, is I will show you this on the 1-hour time frame. Take a look at this a little bit in the bigger picture. See all we've done. See, we've went up, down, And then could we retrace back to this level? I mean, that's asking for a lot to get down to this level. I don't think it will. Nuke stocks have run lately because of Amazon and Google's interest in it to power AI, the energy it takes to power AI. They have all kinds of articles here if you are interested in reading up on it and get a little bit of background. But if you're in the sector, you probably already know all of this. But that's where we would retrace to the south side if we retrace. But on the hourly time frame, because you're going to get different buy and sell signals, we are in an uptrend. And on the daily, this is how we're looking here. This is where we are. Could we go down to 15 and 12? Yeah, if we retrace this level, yeah, we sure can. Back to 7. But that's going to take a very long time if we do. But right now, things are looking good for nuke stocks. So we've got a turn up here on the RSI. And let's look at this on the weekly. It's going down. And on the monthly, it hasn't registered yet because this ticker is pretty new. We only opened up on May 1st of 2024. I'm going to go back to the 5-minute and do one other thing. I marked something out that I forgot to mention. So this is going to be at the end of the week, November 1st. I like to track week to week. And I do that usually over the weekends for my gap and go trades. So I'm going to include this in my gap and go trades because I'm replacing something. So let me go back to Friday here. Right there. So this upcoming week, this is the period I'm looking at. So I gave you targets, but if we continue to go down, look at this. It could take us down to 875 by the end of the week, possibly. That's at -4 standard deviations, and then 1066. So we would be going from here to here, and that's a huge drop. Let me mark out the middle of the trend here. This is support, and it depends on what side of support that this turns into resistance. If we're going down from up here, this will turn as support, support, support. But on the way up, these lines then turn into resistance, including those gaps. Treat them like resistance going back up because you're not going to get it handed to you so easily. This is going to whip you around. So that's the middle of the trend on the 5. All right. And to the north side, we've got this gap that will help pull us, but right now that's not looking good. But to the north side there, roughly again at 2204 to the north side. But it doesn't look good on the 5. But in the big picture, looking better. I like to buy long-term off of the monthly time frame and then load up on it within that time frame. And then I use the 5 just for in and out and then short-term trades. Let's take a look at LTBR. Congratulations if you were in this trade. It ran up 23.95%. We're at 735. I'll just give you quick targets. 776, 834, 894. To the south side, 659, 539, and 481, and 423. This had a gap closure here, a gap closure there, and a gap here to the south side. Could we be going from here and then making our way back and retracing so that institutions can then take this thing down and then get back in again and load up? Who knows? All right, the next one I'm going to go over is OKLC. We ended the week at 1911, up 5.81%. We've got a gap. Let me just draw this out, because once you start seeing gaps, you cannot not see them. We need to unburden ourselves from these gaps and fill them. Unburden the gaps from where they've been. Oh, Kamala Harris cracks me up. I don't understand practically anything she says. All right, to the north side, 2002, let me say that again, 2082 and 2170, 1830, 1662, 1580, 1495. And I will mark this out down to 1171. And then I did NNE, SMR, New Scale Power Corporation, Resistance, 1876, 1967, 2012, 2058, 1787, 1739, 1695, and the 1 year forecast is $21. They did not give us a forecast for NNE. I was going to look it up and I forgot. But if you don't have analysts tracking this, again, just use the linear regression to figure out where the target is, and you can figure it out yourself. You do not need an analyst to tell you where it's going. You can just do it yourself on whatever time frame that you are interested in. And now, because I'm here, I do want to do Palantir really quickly. It has nothing to do with this, although I don't know if they're partnering up with any nuclear companies. I'm sure they are, because this company is everywhere, including Formula One. All right. 44.85 is where we ended. Oops. Okay. 45.64, 46.21, 46.74, 44.54, 43.42, 42.90, and 42.33. Yeah, these are tiny little gaps I don't bother with. But this ticker, well, let me just go, let's go to the 1 hour so you can see the big picture. All right. So we have in the bigger picture a gap that will take us to 30.43, 24.18, and down here, oops, let me fix that. I never cleaned, yeah. And then this one down to 14.95. I don't know how low we're going to go, but you can bet it's just not going to continue to run and run and run without taking a breather. And then market makers crashing this thing so that they can get in at a better price, because Tom Nash and everybody else have been talking about this for a very long time. And I still own the shares that I bought at 1034, 1220, 1242, 1470, 2085, 2149, 2302. And then I did sell some as well at 1755 a long time ago, at 2535. I think I've sold this 2 times, but I've kept everything else. But that is a quick look at Palantir. And Apple will also be reporting earnings, and that's my largest individual holding, as well as Microsoft is my next one. So that is a look at some nuke tickers. If there is a ticker that you would like me to take a look at, please let me know, and have a great trading day.